I've always been curious about forbidden things. When I was a kid, it was ghost stories and abandoned houses. Now, in my 20s, that curiosity led me to the deep web. Not the regular dark web where you can buy shady stuff. I wasn't interested in drugs or fake IDs. I wanted to see the weird, the hidden, the things people whispered about but never really saw. At first, it was overwhelming. Forums full of conspiracy theories, links that led nowhere, and cryptic marketplaces that I didn't dare click. But then I found a thread on an anonymous message board. Hidden rooms, it said. Below was a link with a string of random numbers and letters. The replies were a mix of warnings and baiting comments. Don't go there, and if you know, you know. I should have listened to the warnings. The link led to a plain black web page with a single line of text, "Enter to be seen." Beneath it, a blinking cursor invited me to type. It felt like a dare, and I've never been one to back down. So I typed, "Show me." The screen went dark for a moment before it flickered back to life. A live video feed appeared. It showed a room dimly lit, with a single wooden chair in the center. The walls were concrete, stained with something I didn't want to identify. The chat box to the right of the feed was empty, but my stomach turned as I realized it wasn't a recording. This was happening now. A new message popped into the chat box. "Welcome, observer. Sit back and enjoy the show." I wanted to close the window, but my hand wouldn't move. My curiosity pinned me in place, though every instinct screamed at me to leave. Moments later, the door in the video opened and someone was shoved inside. A man, blindfolded, hands tied behind his back. He stumbled, falling into the chair. The feed zoomed in on his face. He was crying. Immediately, the chat box lit up. "Let's get started already," in all caps from one user. The room moderator sent a message.
"Patience. The room must decide."
I didn't understand what that meant until a prompt appeared on my screen. Participate or observe. I froze. This wasn't passive anymore. They wanted me to be part of it. My mouse hovered over observe. My heart pounded as I clicked it. The screen split. One side showed the room, the other displayed a poll. 3 options: cut, burn, bleed. Votes poured in from faceless users. I felt sick as cut won by an overwhelming margin. A figure entered the room, their face obscured by a mask. They carried a big knife. What followed was unspeakable. The man's screams echoed in my headphones. I tore them off, but it didn't matter. I could still hear him. My stomach churned, but I couldn't stop watching. The screen displayed another prompt: stay or leave. I clicked leave, but the page didn't close. Instead, the chat lit up again.
"No one leaves, observer. You're part of the room now."
A new feed replaced the prior one, now showing my room. My webcam was on, showing me pale and trembling in the glow of my monitor. The chat exploded. "Fresh meat," from one anonymous user. "Let's see the observer play," from another. Panic surged. I slammed my laptop shut, ripping out the power cord. The screen went black, and I threw the laptop into my closet, burying it under my clothes. For hours, I sat in silence, my heart racing, waiting for something. A knock on the door, a sign that they were watching. Nothing came. Days passed, and I convinced myself it was over. I even laughed at how paranoid I'd been. But then last night, my phone buzzed at 3 a.m. It was a message from an unknown number, just 3 words.
"We see you."
I haven't slept since. Every time I close my eyes, I see the room, the chair, the man, and the chat buzzing with excitement. They're still out there, waiting for me to come back, or worse, waiting to bring the room to me. Just now, as I write this, a soft knock echoed from my closet door, the one where I buried my laptop. And for the first time, I realized I had never unplugged the webcam. This morning, I woke up to unbearable itching on my neck. At first, I thought it was just paranoia or a rash, but when I looked in the mirror, my blood ran cold. Scratched into my skin, raw and precise, were 2 words: observer chosen. I heard a hard knock at my door and I panicked. I looked through the door's peephole to find a black-hooded man standing there. I felt dizzy, nauseated, as my heart raced. I slowly opened the door and the man pushed his way in. He held a knife to my throat and said,
"You were chosen."